Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're making ji dan bing, which is a Chinese egg crepe. To start this dish, we need 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. We're going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of kosher salt, and we're going to drizzle in 1/2 cup of warm water. We're going to mix this around until all that flour has absorbed all of our water. This is a really simple dough. It's going to get very sticky, which is what we want. It's going to produce this thin, beautiful, chewy little crepe. So as always, once you can get in there with your hands, go in with clean hands and mix this together until this dough comes together into a nice, beautiful, pillowy little dough, which should take about 2 to 3 minutes. Then we're going to coat this with a tablespoon of neutral oil, roll it around to make sure all the dough is coated. We're going to cover this with some plastic wrap so that it can kind of hydrate and get a little stickier. And we're going to let that rest for about an hour. While that's resting, we can go ahead and prep the rest of our ingredients. For this, we need 4 eggs. I'm using these blue eggs here with those bright yellow yolks, 2 scallions, some hot bean paste, some sweet bean paste, a little toasted sesame seeds, cilantro, and romaine. So for our scallions, we are just going to chop this up. I'm using both the white and the green. We can pop this into a bowl. The cilantro I've just given a little rinse, and we're going to pull up all the little leaves. We're also going to pour out a little of our toasted sesame, plate up some of our hot bean paste, and some of our sweet bean paste. This almost tastes like hoisin. It's a little bit more sulfury. And we're also going to lay out 4 romaine lettuce leaves. Now it's been about an hour. We want to grease up our hands, our pin, and our workbench because again, this dough is very sticky and we want this to stretch out without sticking. Also going to oil up my bench scraper. We're going to pull out our dough and separate this into 4 equal pieces, putting away and covering up the 3 pieces that we're not working with right away. So working 1 piece at a time, we're going to flatten this out and we want to roll this out until it's almost translucent. So just take your time, flipping often. If you find that your dough is sticking, just add a little bit more oil to your workbench and to your pin. And once you can sort of see through it, we're ready to go over the stove where you should be heating up either a cast iron or a heavy bottom pot, but we don't want it super hot to the point where it's smoking. We're going to add in a tablespoon of neutral oil, brush that around, and we're going to place in our dough and it should sizzle when it hits your pan. We're going to let that cook for about 30 seconds, just pulling that out and spreading it around before cracking 1 egg over the top. Look at that gorgeous yellow yolk. And we're going to take a fork and just start scrambling this directly on top of the dough. This is going to become one as this cooks. So after another 30 seconds, we can go in with a spatula. Oh, I'm sorry, drizzle with a little oil first because we want this to cook on the other side as well. Then go in with your spatula, lift this up carefully. You can do this with 2 spatulas if it's easier. Flip that over, let that cook for 30 to 45 seconds, I should say, before flipping again. We just want that egg to cook just through. And once you see little brown spots, this is ready to go. So I'm placing this directly on my workbench because you want to eat these hot. Now we're going to spread a little bit of our hot bean paste on top. You can use any combination of condiments that you want, but I like the combination of everything. So just spreading out a little of our hot bean paste, adding in our sweet bean paste so you get the sweet and the spicy in this. Adding some cilantro for some freshness and herbaceousness. A little scallion for that onion bite. Sprinkling on some sesame seeds, and then adding 1 piece of romaine. And then we are just going to roll this up. And that is our little egg crepe done. Now let's go ahead and get this taste. The dough is chewy and crispy in parts. The egg comes through. You get the crunchiness from the romaine. You get the spiciness from the hot bean paste, the sweetness of that sweet bean paste. The sesame adds a little earthiness. Cilantro adds freshness. And the scallion adds that wonderful little onion bite. And this is absolutely delicious. But there it is. Ji dan bing, Chinese egg crepes. I hope you all try to make this in your home. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really do appreciate it. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you loved it, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell because I put out new videos every Thursday. Thank you so much again. And until next time, happy cooking.